everyone, welcome to Something Delicious with me, Geeta. Today we're going to be preparing two sauces. They are both of Indian origin. One of them is with mangoes and the other one is with yogurt, similar to a tzatziki, but we call it raita. We are going to start off with the mango dish, which is called Mango Pachadi. I am taking the Mango Pachadi recipe that I knew and I've made a few tweaks to it. So the ingredients for a Mango Pachadi are, you want 3 firm mangoes, and I have one over here that I started cutting, and you want to make sure that you cut as close to the core as possible. I'm going to finish cutting it for you. The other ingredients that you need to make this is you want 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil. I am using a corn oil. And I'm going to go over all the spices here. There's a lot of Indian spices here that if you do not have access to it, you could try and make it without it, but it'll have a different flavor, but it'll still taste good. This is called fenugreek. Fenugreek is, the Hindi word for that is methi, and it is a plant, and these are the seeds from it. And when you add it to a dish, you need to toast it first and then grind it into a powder. That adds like a slight bitterness, but it also brings out the sweetness of the dish. So it's very important, but you only need a little bit. These are frozen curry leaves that I have thawed. If you have access to fresh curry leaves, that will be delicious for this. If you do not have it, it's okay, you could still make it. This is mustard seeds. You need this for this dish. This is an absolute must. This is chili de arbol. It's just dried red chilies. You only need 2 of them. This is asafetida powder, and asafetida is the sap of a tree that is, when the sap is extracted, it's like a hard chunk. Growing up, it used to come in this little tin, and we used to like crack that asafetida and then make the powder. But now things are way more modernized. We have asafetida powder. It replaces like onion and garlic in a dish. It has a very strong pungent smell, but it gives you that flavor of onion or garlic without having onion or garlic in the dish. We also have brown sugar, the juice of 3 large lemons. It comes out to about 3/4 of a cup of lemon juice, and salt. I'll have all the exact measurements in the link below. But the mango, after I cut it from the core, you're going to take it and cut it into medium-sized cubes like this. And if you see, the mango is not at all mushy, it's very firm, and you have to have that kind of firm mango to cook this dish. If it's mushy, then it's going to become very pulpy when you cook it, and you want it to hold its shape and remain the nice juicy pieces like it looks right now. So look for those mangoes that are firm, not soft. And I got this at the regular grocery store. I did not go to the Indian grocery store for this. And I'm going to take this pit that I was working on and just cut a little bit more off so that you get more of the flesh. And as you all know, the closer to the pit, the sweeter the mango is. And I'm going to scrape off as much as possible because the pieces that are not a nice uniform piece, I'm going to use that to make the sauce. And you'll see that later on. Okay, so you want to take a large 3 to 3.5 quart pot. This is what you're going to cook the Mango Pachadi in. And let the pot heat up. And the first thing you're going to do is to take that fenugreek, and you're going to dry roast this in the pot. You want the fenugreek to turn a nice brown color, but if you let it go too long, it will turn black, and that's not going to taste good. So there's a very sweet spot there where it's brown and not black. I could see that it's turned darker, and I don't want it to get any darker than this, and I could smell it. So I'm going to shut this off. I'm going to put it in my little bowl, and I'm going to let it cool before I grind it up. This is what it looks toasted. It is a darker brown, and before it was a lighter brown, but you don't want to toast it any more than this. And like I said, if you had smell-o-vision, you could smell this spice. It's quite pungent. Okay, so now that pot's already pretty warm, we're gonna add our 3 tablespoons of corn oil or canola oil. I prefer corn. You're gonna get your 2 chilies ready. Now, if you want the heat of this chili in the pachadi, you're gonna break it, but I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna leave it whole so it flavors the oil and it's not too strong. So I'm gonna go ahead and add this chili to the oil, and then you're gonna gently stir that around. And it's the coolest thing, because what will happen is as the chili starts to heat up, it will plump up. And when you touch it, it'll feel fuller. You don't want it to get black, you just want it to get a nice deep red. And we're already there. I'm gonna lower the flame. And now I'm gonna add the mustard seeds. And mustard seeds, you'll see it'll start to pop. You could stir it a little bit. You could hear it sizzling, and now it's popping. And as it starts to pop, I put the lid on and I lower the flame because I don't want that to burn. And as the popping slows down, you're gonna add these curry leaves, but when you add these curry leaves, you wanna close this right away, otherwise your kitchen's a mess, your arm's not gonna feel great. So now I'm gonna take this out and add the curry leaves. Then after I add the curry leaves, I'm gonna add the asafetida or hing. And you're gonna sprinkle it all over and give it a nice little toss. Then you're gonna have your mangoes ready and add it directly into the dish. If you could smell it here, that asafetida is quite pungent. It's a flavor I grew up with. And the only thing I could tell you is it's supposed to mimic like an onion or garlic. So now I put the asafetida in there. I'm stirring everything around, and I'm going to just cover the pot. So now that the fenugreek has cooled, I'm going to grind it into a powder. This is the fenugreek powder. As you can see, it's not a lot of it, but you just need a little bit and it'll go a long way. So next, we're going to take the lid off and add the 1 cup of brown sugar, the juice of 3 lemons, 3 large lemons, which comes out to 3/4 of a cup of lemon juice, and 1/2 cup of water, and also the salt. You're going to stir this till it's well mixed. And you're going to see it's not drowning in this liquid, but there's just enough so that most of it is, it's not immersed, but there's enough liquid there for this to cook. You don't want to add too much liquid in the beginning because you want that mango to retain its firmness. But basically what you're looking for is that brown sugar to cook through and get softer. That will take about 15 to 20 minutes. You're going to put it on a medium heat and you're going to keep stirring and look for the consistency. So now another 15 minutes has elapsed, and if you look at this mango dish right now, the brown sugar, the lemon juice, all of that has created like this syrup. I'm trying to show you like the consistency here. It's like warm honey. You don't need to cook it past this point. Then what I do is I take my magic bullet blender mixer. I'm going to take this and I'm going to add some ice cubes because I'm going to be adding some of those mangoes, the cooked mangoes. And I'm going to take like 2 good sized spoons and add it in there. And the ice cubes is so that when I'm doing the blending, it doesn't pop off because of the heat. So I have the ice cubes, 2 spoons of the mango, cooked mango. Now I'm going to take 1/2 cup of that brown sugar We added 1 cup to the original dish. Now we're going to add a 1/2 cup to this, and then we're going to add that fenugreek powder to this. And then these are the mango pits, and these are like whatever I could salvage out of those mango pits, but they were not big enough pieces to cook. So I'm gonna add that to this and grind the whole thing up and add it back to this dish. Make sure that you have lowered the temperature on the stove to the lowest setting possible. So let me add my blade. Now you're going to take this and add it to the mango dish and stir well. By doing this, what you've done is you've created that sauce that's blended with the mangoes, but that isn't just all brown sugar. It's blended with the mangoes. And if you want, you could try this and see if it needs a little more acid. You could add another squeeze of lemon, but for the most part, this dish is done. What I usually do is let this come up to another little low simmer and then shut it off. This is done cooking now because you start to see the little bubbles everywhere. This is cooked long enough. If you keep letting it cook beyond this, it's gonna make that sugar too hard. We want it to remain like this as a sauce. I would put some cilantro leaves on top of this and serve this with the brown rice lentil dish. You could have this as a side dish. I've been told this works well with chicken, so you could do it with chicken also, with grilled chicken, but this is the kind of dish that you could just pour this sauce over things to give it that sort of umami, sweet, sour, and a little heat. This really can work on a lot of different things, so enjoy.